good, YouTube? Spiralot90704 here, formerly Toker90704. I'm going to try to get through this video as quick as I can because this laptop keeps crashing. Before I start this video, just going to give you my standard little disclaimer. I'm not encouraging you to go out and do drugs. I'm not recommending that you do drugs. I'm not saying that drugs are going to show you the answer. I'm not saying they're fun, safe, or cool, or any of that jazz. I don't use drugs anymore myself personally, and I haven't for quite some time. Alright. So now that I got my little disclaimer out of the way, I thought I would make a real quick video on mescaline, pure mescaline sulfate. Now, I saw that there's some videos up on YouTube about mescaline, but honestly, it's so rare that I can't just go by their word of mouth that they took it because there's so many analogs. When I was getting it, I was getting mescaline from an underground lab, and I would always test my stuff out on a bunk police test kit. And if there is one recommendation that I can tell you, that I legally can say do this, is go out and spend the money on a good bunk police test kit. Don't pussyfoot around with the cheap one, you know, spend the money, it's worth it, because these things can potentially save your life. Now, I've taken mescaline in the recommended dose of 200 to 400 milligrams and found it to be very fun. I've also taken mescaline up to a gram, and I'll tell you about that experience. I found myself at my brother's house one day. I had a plethora of mescaline that I had dosed myself on, you know, dozens of times. There was no doubt in my mind that it wasn't it. So I decided to do a gram. So I weighed out 1 gram, I put it in a glass, did some orange juice, drank it down. I got sick within like a half hour, and I was starting to feel altered, and I knew that I was getting myself into something because the dose response curvature is so steep. Mescaline hits some waves. It's not like LSD where you can eat some tabs and you're going to come up, you're going to plateau for like 12 hours plus, depending on the dose you take, and then you're down. With mescaline, you get hit with the first wave where you feel kind of funny. X amount of time goes by, you get hit with the second wave, you know, and this is when things might start looking a little bit strange. Sounds might sound a little bit strange. Then X amount of time goes by and you'll get hit with the third wave. And by this point, there's no denying that you're on drugs. Things look weird, colors are shifting, sounds might sound like they're reverbing or echoing or stretching, and you know that you're high. So when I got hit with the peak wave, I honestly thought that I got dusted with raw LSD crystal. I was incapacitated on the couch. I couldn't move very well at all. I couldn't see straight. I was having probably some of the most powerful visuals I had ever had in my life. It was more like visions than anything. I was seeing spirits, you know, come in the room. I was questioning myself, you know, like, what is life? Why are we here? What is this purpose? It triggered my brain into thinking that I had actually died. I know in reality I was just experiencing ego death, but this was the most powerful ego death that I myself had ever experienced. If anything good was to come out of that experience, I would have to say that it really set my mind at ease with the whole dying process, because, you know, when I was younger, I was afraid of death. I knew that it was inevitable. I knew that it was just a part of life. But now, it's put my mind at ease, and it's made me realize that, hey, like, dying, it happens, and I'm pretty sure that I know what's on the other side now, myself personally. So it really put that at ease. Now, like I said, I can't really recommend that anyone go out and do this. Just because I found it to be spiritual and just because I found it to be fun doesn't mean that everyone's going to react the same way. Because honestly, I've seen people lose it on 200 milligrams, which would just be one of the capsules that I was working with. I'll tell you about it. You know, it was one of my brothers. I gave him a capsule. He ate one and ended up flipping out. He went home, destroyed his girlfriend's bedroom, bit her on the neck, you know, just got really violent and out of control. And that was just on 1 capsule. And then there's people like myself, when I would indulge, I could eat, like I said, up to a gram and maintain. So you got to remember, drugs are different for everyone. Just because I used to find them fun and spiritual doesn't mean that it's going to happen for you. Again, I'm not recommending that you guys go out and do this. I'm not saying it's fun, safe, or cool. It is what it is. So know your body, know your limits, know your source, and please do yourself a favor and go out and get a test kit if you feel that you have the need to try these substances. Alright, later.